42-17 with name plays. Yeah, I've certainly had some better years and a couple worse years. It's a very good year, but the best is still ahead of us. But when it comes to big plays, look, name plays, and especially when it comes to total or game of the year play, it's been above 80%, 42-17 with name plays. I got the ABC total of the year among 11 college basketball winners, 4 Wise Guy plays. We're going to add some basketball in the morning. And I should probably mention this, folks. For those of you who are purchasing for the first time, it is very easy to access picks. Click on the FAQ, how to access picks. You can either watch this video or it's pretty self-explanatory, and any question I've ever heard is under the FAQ. So, yeah, we do appreciate we've gotten a lot of first-time clients lately, and we very much appreciate the fact that you're joining us. And every now and then I do get somebody, I'm very new to the internet. How does this thing work? And I promise you just take a look at the FAQ. You're going to be quite happy. It's very easy to get your plays. You're logged in right away upon purchase. All right, some free winners for Saturday. Why don't I first look at some weather? 3 games we're looking at where wind could be a condition. Purdue at Northwestern will be 15 miles per hour. Louisville, Miami, Florida at 16. And then Florida International and Florida Atlantic at 17 miles per hour. Got a few free picks for you. Stanford and Colorado. The numbers suggest that the teams are closer than their records indicate. When you do compare yards per play to what their opponent normally allows, Stanford's at minus 4.4, that is, on offense. Colorado only minus 0.1. Stanford, though, is better on defense at minus 0.2. The Colorado minus 0.5. But KJ Costello is back for Stanford. That is a big lift. They're clearly much better with him at quarterback. I don't think anybody disputes that. He was the most efficient quarterback in the Pac-12 last year. So, yeah, it is great to have him back and a nice confidence booster. These teams are headed in opposite directions. College football, I do say, is the number one momentum sport. Not so much when the road team is much hotter than the home team, but still, it's not like it's the opposite. The fact that Stanford's playing much better football as of late, and they're getting the quarterback back, I'll lay the point Stanford at minus 3.5. Louisville and Miami, Florida. Hassan Hall, the Cardinals kick returner. We'll see him. He's questionable. Cards have one more win to be bowl eligible, but that's a double-edged sword. Yeah, plenty of motivation, but it's also going to be a case where they could definitely feel a little bit of pressure. The Cards coach Scott Satterfield, 19-5 in the final month of the season when he was at Appalachian State, so he does pretty well down the stretch. Cards are off a bye week. Miami could have a letdown off of road wins at both Pittsburgh and Florida State. Now listen to this. Fading home favorites. This doesn't happen very often. Fading home favorites off of consecutive wins as road underdogs. 31-18. That would favor Louisville. Louisville averages 218 rushing yards per game, while the Hurricanes have allowed just 3 teams to rush for over 100 yards this season, so that should be a nice matchup. Louisville gets 4.9 yards per rush at teams that normally allow 4.3. Miami's defense still holds teams to 0.8 yards per play below their normal average. Mostly, as I said, because of the schedule maker. You got Miami in a possible letdown situation. We gave you a system that says it is a letdown situation for them. Louisville off of the bye. We'll take the points. Louisville plus 8.5. Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech quarterback Hendon Hooker missed a 1-point loss to Notre Dame. He's going to be questionable for this game. Tech is going to be honoring longtime defense coordinator Bud Foster, who is retiring. And look, I work with a journeyman handicapper over on the Score Phones who used to love, he would literally try to invent intangibles, but I think this is one where, like I said, you can't really manufacture emotion. He's been there for a long time. They're going to be honoring him at home. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of players coming back. There will be. This does have handicapping significance. Wake Forest quarterback Jamie Newman leads the conference at 337.7 yards of total offense. Wide receiver Sage Surratt leg-high 9 touchdowns for Wake, and he averages 118.5 yards per game. Wake over 400 yards on offense 10 straight games going back to last year, despite averaging 320 yards per game. Wake is actually going under 5-6. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that Wake Forest can still have a big game offensively, and the game could still go under because the odds makers are aware of that. Now, it's only Wake's third road game of the year. But, listen to this, away favorites of 2 or more, playing just the third or fewer road game in game 9 or less are actually surprisingly a good play. 98-77 and 2 for 56%. Yeah, I know I try to give a little bit of both sides, but I do like Wake Forest here, minus a 2.5. I like to give, stuff that could theoretically support each team. Here's who the public is liking. The most popular plays in terms of bet. Now, you hear about contrarian bettors. The contrarian bettors would say to bet the other side on these. Mississippi, that is. Mississippi has 84% of the bets. So if you're a contrarian bettor, you would bet the other side at New Mexico State. 84% of the bets are also on Clemson against North Carolina State. Georgia Southern has 81% of the bets against Troy. Charlotte has 81% of the bets against UTEP. Now let's take a look at the most popular bets based on percentage of money, and therefore they would be the biggest sportsbook liabilities. Clemson, 93% of the money is on them. Florida Atlantic, 90% of the money is on them. Mississippi at 89%, and then South Carolina at 88%. Remember, MyBookie.ag, they help keep this podcast free. These free picks, free. That's why they're called free, folks. They are incredibly reliable. They're going to pay you on time. You will never, ever sweat a payout. Never. It's that simple. I've been with them for years, and like I said, I've known some of the principals there even before there was a MyBookie.ag. These are true business people. These are honest people, full of integrity. You'll never hear a bad thing about them. All the legitimate watchdogs out there, they'll tell you they're one of the best sports books in the world. Every vetted sportsbook is at offshoreinsiders.com, including MyBookie.ag, but use the promo code Duffy. That ensures you'll get the biggest sign-up bonus, which is right now at 50%, and it's your way of telling them, keep supporting this great and free information.